As we have moved deeper into the novel, The Flesh, and we have discussed, and at the very end of the video, if you have watched till the end, we have analyzed that exactly what points the author is trying to make. At the end of this video too, I will analyze the whole text. So I am not reading merely the text, but also looking at the interpretation and various lenses through which that text can be known and understood in a deeper level. So now continuing in the part 1 section, the next time they sit on the sofa, she stops kissing and draws away from him. He opens his eyes. "Can I?" she asks, looking at him. She has started to undo his belt. He just nods. Awkwardly, he raises his hips from the sofa to help her as she pulls the trousers and pants down to his knees. It's the first time that anyone else has seen him like this. It feels strange to have someone else there looking at it. She touches it with her hand and then lowers her mouth to it. To be comfortable, though, she has to kneel on the floor. She kneels on the floor and takes it in her mouth again. He is looking at the top of her head, at the roots of her hair where the blonde he sees now is slightly mixed with grey. He wonders how it is that her teeth are not hurting him, that her mouth is too soft. He feels himself already starting to come as he stares up at the ceiling and then at the balcony where the afternoon sun is glowing in the green glass panels, and then at the top of her head again, which is moving faster now. And now she is doing something with her tongue that just, it's almost too much. Almost like pain, though not pain, the opposite of pain. He makes a small startled sound. Her head stops moving. Her mouth slides off him. Her eyes are shut. So is her mouth. She inhales through her nose. After a few seconds, she stands up and leaves, and from the kitchen he hears the sound of water in the sink. He has this peaceful feeling. For a minute or two, he feels extremely at ease, just sitting there looking at the tidy living room and at the balcony with the sun glowing in the panels of green glass. On the balcony, in the sunlight, is a big jar with lots of small cucumbers in it, submerged in a milky liquid. Crammed in at the top of the jar is what seems to be wet bread. She is making kovazos uborka, fermented pickles. She comes back and sits down next to him on the sofa, and seeing her, he feels again confused and sort of ashamed that he is doing this with someone like her, with a woman who might be older than his mother, who makes kovazos uborka. She is stroking his hair. "Did you like that?" she asks. He nods. Afterwards, he walks down the stairs and sits on a bench in the little park near the housing estate. There is a man on the next bench who is smoking a cigarette. Istvan asks him if he can buy one. "You can have one," the man says. Istvan goes back to his own bench and sits there smoking the cigarette that the man gave him. Small movements of air make the leaves on the branches above him clatter softly. She shows him her breasts. The nipples are weird, surprisingly big and brown, and with these little things like warts on them. When he first sees them, he is slightly disgusted. But then later, thinking about them, he masturbates more than once. He finds it strange how, at the same time, he can find them slightly disgusting and also be so turned on by them or by the memory of them. It is partly the way she showed them his things. He was sitting at her kitchen table eating somloy galoska while she put the shopping away, and then when she had finished doing that, she asked him if he wanted to see them, and he said yes, and she just showed them to him. Standing there in the kitchen, she took off first her shirt and then her bra. It's the memory of her doing that turns him on as much as what they actually looked like. What they actually looked like seems almost irrelevant, or that they were weird and slightly disgusting might even have had the effect of turning him or more. When he had finished the Somloy Galuska, they went to the sofa and kissed for a while, and then she undid his trousers and sucked him off again. Then he left. The next time it happens, she says, I swallowed it. Yeah, he says, still with that peaceful feeling he always has for a few minutes afterwards. She nods, sort of smiling at him. Okay, he says. Will you do something for me? She asks. Okay, he says. She takes his hand and puts it between her legs. She takes his hand and puts it between her legs. She lifts her skirt up to her waist. She is wearing black tights underneath it and puts its hand where she wants it. She presses it there firmly. The place where she presses it is soft and yielding through the layers of fabric. When he does nothing, she starts to move his hand herself. She positions his fingers precisely like that. She says, there, like that. She lets go of his hand and he moves it himself. There is something wrong with the way he is doing it though. She takes hold of his hand again and moves it energetically, pressing it into her like that. Okay, he says. She shuts her eyes. He keeps doing it until his arms get tired. Thank you, she says when he stops. On Sunday, his mother takes him to lunch at the McDonald's in the new shopping mall. The McDonald's only opened a few months ago. His mother watches him eat. She isn't eating herself. She has a paper cup of McDonald's coffee that she occasionally takes a sip from. How is school? She asks. It's fine, he says. At the parent-teacher meeting last week, she says, they said you seem distracted sometimes. He shrugs. Your marks have slipped a bit. Yeah? He says, I wonder if it's that you are spending too much time playing those computer games. She suggests. No, he says. Then? What? I am just trying to understand, she says. Are you making friends? Yeah. He nods, not looking at her. That's good, she says. He isn't sure if she believes him or not. He and the lady walk to the supermarket. It's raining. He holds the umbrella over them both. I want to make love with you, she says, when they are in her kitchen again. I want to feel you inside me. Do you want to do that? Okay, he says. Is your mother at home? No, he says. They do it on his bed. She insists on the window shutter being fully lowered, maybe because of what happened when she showed him her breasts. The look of slight disgust or whatever it was that she must have seen on his face then. She puts the condom on herself. He lies on his back on the bed and she lowers herself onto him. He just lies there while she moves her hips and makes quiet noises. He can't really see her in the near darkness with the shutter down. A few moments after he comes, she stops moving. He feels himself shrink inside her until his dick slides out. It feels like it sort of slides out sideways. It's a strange feeling. She leans down to him so that he smells her breath when she says that he is a man now and asks him how that feels. He thinks it's strange that he doesn't feel any different, that nothing seems to have changed. He doesn't say that, he just sort of shrugs, still lying there on his back, and she moves away from him and starts to get dressed again. Are you alright? She asks, when he doesn't say anything for a while. Yes, he says. Okay, she says. And then, speaking to him out of the near darkness, she says that she feels honored that he did it for the first time with her and thanks him. And then she leaves and he doesn't move for a while. He has a shower. In the shower, he gets hard again and masturbates. It takes him a long time to come. When he finally does, he leans against the tiled wall and listens to the water pecking at the plastic shower curtain, still thinking that it's strange that he doesn't feel any different, that everything seems to be the same. He takes the bus into the town and has a big Mac meal. It's early evening when he gets back. The street lights have just come on, all at the same time. He meets her husband at the entrance of the building. Hello, Istvan, he says. How are you? Okay. After you? her husband says, holding the heavy front door open for him. It's made of metal with two panels of security glass. Each one goes in first, and they walk through the low entrance hall, past the mailboxes, and up the concrete stairs together. What have you been up to? Her husband asks. Nothing much, Istvan says. For a few days, he doesn't see her. He masturbates quite a lot, at least twice a day. Usually when he does that, he is thinking of her and of the things they have done together. Otherwise, he doesn't think of her much, except that he finds he does want to fuck her again. After a while, he is unable to stop thinking about that, and the thought that it might not happen again is surprisingly difficult to deal with. Sometimes he wonders if he should knock on her door. Sometimes always stops him. Something always stops him. Then at the end of the week, she knocks on his door. He pauses the computer game that he is playing and opens it. Hello, she says. He doesn't say anything. Embarrassed that he already has a hard-on at just the sight of her standing there, he puts his hands in his pockets. She asks if he can come to the supermarket with her. Okay, he says, I will put my shoes on. She nods. They walk to the supermarket initially in silence as usual. Then as they wait at the traffic lights, she says to him, What are you listening to? What? He says, What are you listening to? He has his headphones on and is listening to music. Mac Hammer, he says. What's it like? He shrugs. Can I listen? She asks. He passes her the headphones and she puts them over her ears. I don't like it, she says after only a few seconds. Okay, he says. When they get back, he puts the shopping on her kitchen table. It's a warm day and his t-shirt is sticking on his skin. She asks him if he wants some ice cream. Okay, he says. Sit down then, she says. He sits and waits while she serves him some ice cream in one of those glass bowls she has. Raikoczy Taros, she says. Okay, he says. You like that, don't you? He nods. While he is eating it, she sits down next to him. After just sitting there for a while, she puts her hand on his knee. Is your mother at home? She asks. No, he says. Try not to come so quickly, she says. She twists and thrusts her hips while he lies there looking at the underside of the pine shelf on the wall above his head. Her movements become much urgent, and he has a strange feeling that she is no longer aware of him. Suddenly she stops moving altogether. There is a moment of tension. Then something happens. She goes limp. She puts her arms around him and lies still for a moment. He feels the sweat on her and on himself. It's hard to say whose sweat it is. Her movements become more urgent, and he has a strange feeling that she is no longer aware of him. Suddenly she stops moving altogether. There is a moment of tension. Then something happens. She goes limp. There is a slippery layer of sweat between them. Outside the sun is shining. The shutter is down, but there are some small holes in it, which let a bit of light through, enough to see her as she dresses, now that his eyes are used to the semi-darkness. She has pubic hair and a track of a hair on her belly. In porn, none of these women have pubic hair, or not that much anyway. None of the women have weird nipples like hers. As long as no one knows about it, it's like it isn't really happening. It's like it exists in the same way that his fantasies exist, as something he's just imagining. That's how it seems to him sometimes. He doesn't see her at the weekend when her husband is at home. He just wanders around the town. He spends a long time in the second-hand shop looking at the computer games, the crate of cassettes in scuffed plastic boxes. The games are pirate copies with badly photocopied instructions. There is pirated music too, all the latest stuff from the West. Vanilla Ice, Madonna, Guns N' Roses. He leaves the shop without buying anything. The weekend seems to last forever. On Monday they do it twice. In between they just lie there on the bed. There is the sound of the rain on the window. They can hear it sometimes, but they can't see it because the shutter is down. After they have been lying there for a while, she starts to suck him and he quickly becomes hard again. Do you Want to take me from behind? She asks. Okay, he says. She turns and he sort of kneels on the soft mattress, trying to find the place. The rain patters on the window. No, not there, she says. She has to reach back with her hand to help him. She is always extremely wet. It feels different from that angle. She worries afterwards that they didn't use a condom the second time. He isn't sure why she is worrying. He assumed she was too old to get pregnant. How old are you? He asks her. 42, she says. Do you look at pornography? She asks him. No, he says. Don't lie, she says. He wonders how she knew that he was lying. He doesn't say anything. Do you have some? Why? Do you? She laughs and asks to see it. Please, she says. He goes to his desk and opens the lowest drawers and feels with his hand on the floor underneath. The magazine is starting to slightly fall apart. Are you embarrassed? She asks as he hands it to her. Yeah, a bit, he says. Why are these pages stuck together? She asks. Why do you think? Oh, she says and laughs again. Prizing the pages apart, she looks at the pictures. They look at them together. There is something about doing that he likes. The window shutter isn't down. They leave it open now. I have never seen anything like this, she says. The woman all shaved there, Yeah. Do you want me to do that? She asks, looking up at him. No, he says. Be honest, she says. I'm being honest. You don't want me to shave it? No, he says. So you like my hair? She says, yeah, he says. He doesn't know if that's true or not. Your mother will be home soon, she says. She gets up from the bed. Your mother will be home soon, she says. She gets up from the bed. This is my favorite bit of the day, she says. I don't mean when I leave. She moves around, picking her clothes up from the floor and putting them on. I mean when I am here. Still lying on the bed, he watches her. She's nearly dressed now. What's your favorite bit of the day? She asks. Don't know. This I suppose, he says. When she leaves, he thinks about what they did. He tries to kind of hold on to the reality of it. As soon as she isn't there, it seems slightly Do you think about me when we are not together? She asks. Sometimes, he says. I think about you, she says. Yeah? Yes, she says. What do you think about? He asks. This mostly. She takes his dick in her hand. She laughs. He laughs too. He likes it that she says things like that. He has never talked to anybody the way he talks to her, the way they talk to each other. She puts baby oil on her breasts and he fucks them. She has a weird expression on her face, trying to look at what's happening and lifting and squeezing her breasts together at the same time. The veins stand out in the middle of her forehead. When he comes, it goes on her face and she shrieks with excitement, almost as if she is coming herself. Then some of it goes in her eye. Oh, she says, that stings. It really stings. Sorry, he says. With her hand to her eye, she laughs. It's not your fault. She goes to the bathroom to wash her eye out. When she gets back, her eye is very red. Is it okay? He asks. It still stings, she says. I'm sorry, he says again. It's okay, she says. She joins him on the bed. He likes lying there naked while she touches him. The rest of the day feels somehow fake compared to this. It feels like a less intense sort of reality. It feels unimportant. The important part of life happens with her. That's how it feels. When she goes away for a week to visit her mother, his life seems empty. He drifts through the days at school with a sort of indifference to everything. Without that hour in the afternoon to look forward to, there is nothing to give the days any sense of purpose or meaning. When she gets back, the summer holidays have started. He is at home all day, and for the first time, they do it in the morning. There is something I would like to do with you, she says. What? He asks. She tells him. Would you like that? She says. There is a lake 10 or 15 kilometers from the town among the hills to the north. They take a bus there, first having to take one into the town center. where they wait for a second one that goes to the lake. Once the bus leaves the suburbs of the town, it takes about half an hour to get there, mostly on a road through the forest where it has to keep slowing for a sharp turns. It's almost empty by then. It's the middle of a weekday and there aren't many people going to the lake. When they arrive, she says she knows a nice place where there won't be anyone to disturb them. Okay, he says, the lake is surrounded by steep green hills. They walk on a forest track under the trees. As she said, there is no one else around. It's pleasant in the shade under the trees. She says she's already wet and asks him if he wants to check for himself. He's not sure what to do. She has stopped. He stops too. Do you? She asks. They are standing on the track under the trees. The track is made of dried mud that has taken the imprint of tractor tires in places. In deep hollows, the mud is still visibly damp. The wind is shaking the upper branches of the trees. Yeah, okay, he says. Go on then, she says. He lifts her dress at the front up to about the level of her navel and puts a few of his fingers into her panties. See, she says. Again, he isn't sure what to do. His fingers are still in there. So do you want to? He says uncertainly. What? You know? She laughs. Not here, she says. Why not? He asks. I know somewhere else, she says. The trees end and there is a sort of meadow near the top of the hills. They do it there in the long grass. They eat langos while they wait for the bus back to the town. She is worried that they will meet her husband or his mother when they arrive back at the housing estate. It will be about the time that they both get home from work. So she says that they would arrive separately. At the bus station in the town, she tells him to wait and take the bus after her. Okay, he says. When she has gone, though he feels something painful and confusing. I love you, he says to her the next day. They are lying on his bed. Don't say that. She says, why not? He says, you don't know what that means. She says, yes, I do. He says, you don't. She says, stroking his hair. It makes him angry, the way she does that. He moves his head away. Why do you say that? He asks her. Why do you say I don't know what that means? You don't love me, she says. I do. Please, she says, stop saying that. Why? If you keep saying that, we will have to stop this, she says. The next day, she tells him that they have to stop it anyway. I'm sorry, she says. I really didn't think this would happen. What? How you feel, she says. That I love you, he says. You don't. Yes, I do. She puts her hand on his face. Well, I don't love you. She says, I am sorry. She looks tired, as if she hasn't slept much, as if she was awake for most of the night. Do you love your husband? He asks her. What difference does that make? I just want to know. It doesn't make any difference, she says. Yes, he says. Why? She asks. Do you love him? Yes, I do. She says. How can you say that? He says. I don't think you understand the situation, she says. I think I do, he says. No, you don't, she says. I don't think you do. I'm sorry, she says. Please don't cry, I'm sorry. He spends a lot of time hanging around on the stairs, waiting for her. It seems impossible to him, after what they have done together, that what she says is true, that she doesn't love him, that she loves her husband. He waits for her on the stairs. When she sees him there, she hesitates, as if wondering whether to step back into her flat. He is on the half landing, where the stairs turn and her plants stand in a line next to the low window. Hot afternoon sun slants in. What are you doing here? She says to him without stopping. They have already met on the stairs a few times. Following her down, he says what he always says. I want to see you. I am sorry, she says. Please, he says. No, she says. I am sorry, please. She stops on the first floor landing and says, turning to him, no, you have to stop this. What? Waiting for me like this. I want to see you. No. She continues down the stairs and leaves the building. She looks angry to see him still there when she returns nearly an hour later. What are you doing? She says, waiting for you. Why? I want to talk to you. She won't let him take the shopping from her. He follows her up the stairs. I want to talk to you, he says again. She ignores him. You have to stop this, she says, finally speaking to him again when they arrive at her door. Please, he says. No. She starts to unlock the door. I love you, he says. No, you don't. I do. Stop saying that. Seeing that, she is starting to hate him, he decides not to try to see her for a week. He hopes that if he does that, she will eventually agree to see him again. After only a few days, though, it is unbearable not to see her at all, not to know where she is or what she is doing. Even her hatred and anger would be preferable to that, is what he feels, and it's with that feeling that he knocks on the door of her flat one evening. He isn't sure exactly why he is doing it or what he will say. He just wants to see her. He has to knock for quite a long time. Finally, her husband opens the door. "What is it?" he says. "Is she there?" One asks him. "What? Is she there? What are you talking about?" Her husband says. "Is she?" "No," her husband says, already shutting the door. Instinctively, One pushes it open again. Her husband puts out a hand to stop him. "What do you think you are doing?" he says, sure that she is there and that her husband just wants to prevent him from seeing her. One tries to push past him into the flat. Her husband tries to stop him. There is a scuffle on the landing. Mostly it's just pushing and shoving. And then her husband falls down the stair. He tries to hold on to the metal handrail, but he isn't able to, and there is a strange loud sound as his head hits it farther down, and then he is lying on the concrete floor of the half landing next to his wife's plants, and he doesn't get up. One waits for him to get up. It's very quiet suddenly. He hears voices from somewhere down in the stairwell. When it is obvious that the man isn't going to get up, One starts to walk down the stairs. His legs are shaking under him. They are shaking so much that it's almost difficult to walk. He passes the landing where the man is lying, and whereas few of his wife's plants have been knocked over, spilling soil onto the concrete, and keeps going down. On the floor below, the doors of the flats are open, and some people are standing there. He passes them without saying anything, and they don't say anything to him. It may be that they think he has nothing to do with what happened, whatever it was. They heard something, shouts and maybe the loud noise when the man hit the metal handrail. They are looking up the stairwell as if they are wondering what happened. He walks past them down the stairs and out into the warm evening. It's still quite light outside. He walks away. He doesn't know where he is going. He just keeps walking. He doesn't know how long he walks for, only that it's already dark when a police car drives slowly past him on an obscure, quiet street and stops up ahead near a small store on a corner, and two policemen get out. When he tells them his name, they put the handcuffs on him, and one of them says into his radio that they have him. They are some oldish men outside the small store who watch the whole thing. They watch in silence as the police put the handcuffs on him, and then one of them says, "What did he do? Steal a liter or milk? Steal a liter of milk?" And one of the policemen says, "No, he killed someone." When the policeman says that, the whole situation feels even stranger. Later, at the police station, another policeman, a more important one, tells him directly that the man is dead. He just stares at the policeman when he says that, and the policeman, who is not wearing uniform, who is wearing jeans and a t-shirt, says, "You don't have anything to say?" Probably he doesn't even seem surprised, and the policeman says, "You knew he was dead, didn't you?" He shakes his head, and the policeman asks him why he left the building then, if he didn't know that the man was dead. Why he didn't call an ambulance? "I don't know," he says. "You don't know?" The policeman says, "You don't know why you didn't call an ambulance? People might think that if it was an accident, you would have called an ambulance." It's at that moment that he understands for the first time what the policeman thinks. He thinks that he deliberately killed the man. And in a way, he starts to doubt his own memories of what happened. He starts to wonder if he is remembering it right or not. He wanted the man dead. He did want him dead. "You wanted him dead, didn't you?" the policeman says to him, and he doesn't deny it. He doesn't say anything. And when the policeman says that he pushed the man down the stairs with the intention of killing him, he starts to wonder if maybe that actually was what happened. He starts to have this feeling that he wanted the man to be dead, and then the man died, and that in some sense that went beyond the purely accidental. He had killed him. He did push him down the stairs. That's why the man fell down the stairs. He pushed him. And it's hard to say what his intention was. It's hard to say what his intention was when he did that. when he pushed the man and he fell down the stairs and hit his head on the metal handrail and then lay on the concrete floor of the half landing next to his wife's plants and didn't get up. Now I should end with a critical commentary. Now the part 1 of the book has come to an end. Now my comments. I think part 1 ultimately reveals something much deeper than a story of illicit sexuality. The sexual relationship is the vehicle through which the novel examines consciousness, authenticity, and the impossibility of translating lived experience into fixed meanings. The most decisive turning point is not the beginning of the affair, but the moment one says that he loves her. Until then, the relationship functions almost entirely on the level of the body. Neither of them needs language to sustain it. Their encounters are physical, immediate, and largely free of interpretation. The moment love is spoken, however, language enters and demands definition, commitments, and social consequences. What had existed as an unspoken experience suddenly becomes something that must be named, justified, and situated within the moral world. The woman rejects his declaration not necessarily because she finds it repulsive, but because she understands that desire and love are not identical. For her, the affair occupies a separate compartment of life. It is an intimate yet bounded experience that can coexist with her marriage. Iswan, however, experiences life without such compartments. His consciousness refuses the distinction between bodily intimacy and emotional commitment. Having shared his most vulnerable experiences with her, he naturally understands them as love. The tragedy is not that one of them lies, it is that they inhabit fundamentally different structures of feeling. Her repeated insistence that you don't know what that means is therefore not simply condescension. She accuses that, or she assumes that a 16-year-old cannot grasp the complexity of adult love, marriage, responsibility, and contradiction. Yet the novel subtly invites us to question her certainty. Perhaps Istvan's understanding of love is not immature, but radically sincere. He refuses to separate sex from attachment because for him, experience has not yet been divided into socially manageable categories. His innocence lies not in ignorance of sex, but in his inability to instrumentalize intimacy. The novel also exposes the instability of intention. The police investigation demonstrates how institutions necessarily reconstruct events through the language of motive, intention, and responsibility. Yet the narrative has consistently shown that Istvan rarely possesses fully formed intention before he acts. His actions arise from immediate experience rather than calculated purpose. Only afterwards, through police interrogation, legal discourse, and even his own memory, is a coherent intention imposed upon what was originally an ambiguous and fluid moment. The novel thus raises a profound philosophical question. Do intentions precede action, or are they often retrospective narratives through which society renders actions intelligible? This ambiguity reaches its climax in the death of the husband. Istvan undoubtedly wished the man would disappear from his relationship with the woman. But wishing for someone's absence is not identical to consciously intending murder. The novel refuses to resolve this distinction. Instead, it shows how memory itself becomes unstable under institutional pressure, until Istvan begins to doubt whether the intention attributed to him was ever truly his. By the end of part 1, the flesh emerges as a mediation on the tension between immediate experience and the interpretive systems that seek to explain it. Love, desire, guilt, intention, and even identity are shown not as fixed psychological facts, but as meanings continually produced through language, law, and social convention. Istvan remains compelling because he inhabits experience before these conventions fully take hold. His tragedy is that the world cannot accommodate such immediacy. It requires explanations, categories, and motives, even when lived reality resists them. This tension between authentic experience and socially constructed meaning becomes the novel's deepest philosophical achievement. The part 1 of the discussion ends here.